Greetings and salutations. This is another Dragon Burrows video. On a more lighter note, I've been Level Geek Asian uh, did a video on uh, Power Rangers versus Super Sentai, and he did say why Super Sentai was a better product. And for me, I will have to agree with him on that because I believe that Super Sentai is the far superior product than the than what Power Rangers have brought up. Let me get started by saying uh, saying this. I've been putting it out in little bits and pieces, but I'll expand upon it. Like I already written some down, but I couldn't post it up on I couldn't edit my post on the Geek Level Asian video. Uh, for for me, the reason why Super Sentai is like all the way Super Sentai is this. For one, I love how the continued story from episode to episode in a season of Super Sentai. But, like because you can, but yeah, it's rare to see in Power Rangers, but it's more so found in Super Sentai. Like Red Ranger could be facing a dilemma of his leadership skills and his abilities, but like he shows the female Yellow Ranger and the female Blue Ranger get injured and and taken away, and he's down to most probably just himself because another like another couple of Rangers are injured, but yet they were able to return back to their headquarters, which I find to be a brilliant thing because they to have this beautiful continued storyline like uh, the Pirate Sentai Rangers. I honestly love that season because it ties together a lot of a lot of Rangers in that from 34 years prior to that season going on, which unfortunately is not found in the Power Rangers. Uh, all you just have to look in with the Power Rangers thing, Wild Forces Forever Red, but episode as they had to use Time Force's Sixth Ranger since they didn't adapt any Sentai Ranger costume from the Gosei Sentai Dairanger. All the Power Rangers just did was be very lazy here. People who run Power Rangers are very lazy here. It was the Saban uh, sheer sheer stupidity of not doing what the Japanese have done with Super Sentai. In Super Sentai, this is another reason why I love. I'll get to that later. The reason why I love the Super Sentai over the set over Power Rangers. I just as I like they like the fact that Saban were too lazy to adapt uh, Ghostly Sentai Dairanger, and they just continued Kairyu Sentai Zoo Ranger. Zoo Ranger, not Jew Ranger. Zoo. ZYU Ranger. ZYU. You're an executive of a big company, mate, and you can't, and you go, oh, Jew Ranger, yay, it's speaking about me. No, it's not talking about you. It's talking about Zoo Ranger. And just with that, it's just so crazy to think that someone would be so would get so excited about Jew Rangers, yay! I'm not insulting the Jewish people at all. A future family member of mine is Jewish, so I can't, I don't insult the Jewish people. I just find it hilarious that a person heard Zoo Ranger, and thought it was Jew Ranger. Get your ears checked. And yeah, it's just so ridiculous, you know, like they just didn't want to bring in new people. Let me see. Japan acting people who are people who are available to act in Japan versus people who are acting in Hollywood. A lot more people in Hollywood than there in Japan, but Japan finds people in different seasons long before they go do the show. Which is so sad because I would have loved to have seen like back when I was a Power Ranger fan, I would have loved to have seen the Gosei Sentai Day Ranger red costume, like the dragon costume. They used the Zords, the mechas, sorry. But even look at the the mess of Super Mega Force, and this is a continuation of the same thing, same crap with Forever Red in Wild Force. The reason why it was messed up, it was messed up way before the episode was made, with them having an oversaturation of cast members like Jason David Frank playing Dr. Tommy Bloody Oliver in Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers, both Green and White Ranger. He played the lead in Turbo. He played the lead in Zeo. So that's 2 Ranger spots. And he also was in Dino Thunder. So 5 Ranger roles that he filled out. No wonder they couldn't do like the Black Dino Dino Thunder Ranger, or the Red Zeo Power Ranger, or the Red or properly do the Red Turbo Ranger, or even can get the White Ranger in from the Mighty Morphin series, because they were just done by one actor, which which is a big mess up, because again, look at Jason Lee Scott being 2 different. He's the original Mighty Morphin Red, and he was Zeo Gold. Oops, I mean Zeo was didn't have a Gold Ranger. They had Emperor King as a Power Ranger. Ooh, they didn't want to do that. Rocky DeSantos, the second Mighty Morphin Red, through to Zeo Blue, Kimberly Hart, Mighty Morphin Pink, for, for 2 and a bit seasons. Billy Cranston, Mighty Morphin Blue through the 3 seasons. Throughout the full 3 seasons. Adam Parker is the second Mighty Morphin Black Power Ranger through to Turbo Green, and most probably into yeah to Green. Uh, Cat Hillard, second Mighty Morphin Pink, through to Turbo. Even later, uh, T.J. Johnson, Carlos Velez, Ashley Hammond, and Cassie Chan, having roles in both Turbo and in space. It took so much away from having like an epic crossover, if there were to be an epic crossover of Zeo, Turbo, and in Space Ranger team up. This is where I believe that it with them not thinking the way, and this is where I believe that this is one reason why I believe that Power Rangers is inferior, where Super Sentai is superior. Like in different seasons of Super Sentai, they have different actors playing. Like there's been like like nearly 45 reds, 45 blues, 45 like nearly 40 bit yellows. There's been a fair chunk of white rangers, fair chunk of pink rangers, green, black, some orange, some violet slash purple, black, various shades of red, various shades of blue, pink, various shades of various shades of different colors of the rainbow, and that's been on on different teams throughout the years. And that's one thing I love about the like the crossover events. You can actually see the two different teams going at it, but uh, even now with super this and super that and super something else, especially with the Megaforce, like Megaforce and Super Megaforce, the same actors. You don't have like the Angel Rangers facing against the Pirate Rangers. You have the Angel Rangers go click, they become the Pirate Rangers, and they themselves go click, and they become other Rangers. And that's one thing I love about the Pirate Sentai Gokaiger over Super Megaforce. Is just that the fact that you have different ranges, you got different roles, and you got different powers in that, which I find to be exquisite. Another reason why I am such a huge fan of the Super Sentai over uh, the the Power Rangers is that it's just so like you literally though you've had like a number of ninja based teams, a number of dinosaur based teams, a number of mythical based teams, another like a different different sort of teams throughout the years, but from Zoo Ranger to to the Rangers series that was developed into Dino Thunder and now Dino Mega Charge and like Dino Charge and now I know there's been four different dinosaur themes seasons, but uh, one thing I love about the power like the Super Sentai original is that it has like, though they have dinosaurs, but yet the dinosaurs have a partnership with the Sentai warriors, with the Sentai teams actually. That's one thing I love about the dynamic of the 40 plus year show, and that's the different aspects of the like you can have you can have your multiple ninja Sentai teams, but each Sentai team is different. Like like the team that has Jiraiya is different to uh, the Super Sentai that was developed into Ninja Storm, which is different to Senkenja. Oh, sorry, Senkenja is Samurai. Is different to another one that's to the other one who's ninja. Different. They have different ninja abilities, different ninja skills and talents, which I love. The dinosaurs, I love the dinosaurs. There's been mythical ones as well. There could be in a couple of mythical teams, uh, which I'm so happy of. And and that's the reason why I truly love love uh, Kaiju Sentai Gokanja. It it's the 35th anniversary season, but I love how they honor the past warriors that have come in their that have come before, and for them to be pirates. Let me just think. Hello, space pirates. How super cool! How super cool is that? It for me, being a being literally a child of the '80s, like a kid that grew up, that was born in the '80s and was 7 at the end of the '80s. I became a huge fan of King Beast King Go Lion, aka Voltron, Lion Force over in the West. I just have this feeling like space pirates and like in that Beast King Go Lion from the '80s Voltron vibes. It's like they've gone against an empire, a tyrant that wants to rule and enslave the universe, and for them to be have bounties on their heads and have a police uh, team, uh, SPD team to go after them, I find it to be beautiful. How the pirates actually did work well with the police, which is odd for pirates and police to work together. But to have this done in the media, it's beautifully done. And for them to get the ultimate power, and that is of like a police car with 6 Gatling guns on the sides, which is which is which is one of my favorite transformations in that season. And as well, to have prior to that, to have the 199 legendary Sentai War, which have like all the 49 39 previous Sentai to Kokenja, them facing against this huge tyrant from space, and they won the first wave, but yet the second wave came, and now it's the Pirate Rangers' turn to kick their ass, which I love so much. There have been other seasons where there have been team ups and that, but it just feels so good about it. But like, but I don't get that when it comes to Super Mega Force. Unfortunately, it just felt like the Power Rangers were doing more like the all cartoon, like the cartoon All Stars to the rescue. Like back when it was when it was shown here in Australia, I just seen when that TV show came up, uh, like that cartoon. I was like, oh, cool, Michelangelo. But they've so many different, all these different cartoons and properties that I just didn't feel like they worked well. It would work well if they had like the Turtles do something about drugs and alcohol. If they had more mature cartoons to do those sort of things, but they didn't do it like that. They had this whole hodgepodge feel, and it just didn't feel right. And I feel the same way when it comes to Super. When it comes to Power Rangers, Super Mega Force. Unfortunately, there's no real feeling to feeling from it, you know. And yeah, you just didn't get that. The For me, I just didn't get that vibe when it comes to that particular season, Super Mega Force. You have the you have the Angel Rangers with the Pirate Ranger, Silver Ranger, and all these other, like the lineups were not exactly, were were literally shot. As I made mention with the with Tommy Oliver literally having 5 Ranger roles, a couple others having 3, some even just having 2, which is which to be honest with you, it's pretty sad to think that having this sort of thing come up, it's just so sad to think that a time when they could have actually honored the past Rangers, they flopped. Which I believe that the Pirate Sentai Gokeja, I mean, they knocked it out of the ballpark. They literally did. They not only knocked it out of the ballpark, but they won. Another thing that I find to be, one thing I love, another thing I love about the Super Sentai over Power Rangers. The reason why Super Sentai is another reason why Super Sentai is better than Power Rangers. It's like like death and or fear of death. I love. I honestly love the fact that the Super Sentai itself doesn't sugarcoat it. They don't they they just did it once. They've done it once, but that actress had to the woman who played the Pink Ranger uh, in Lost in Space or Lost Galaxy or Lightspeed Rescue had to change because the actress had cancer and they couldn't film a like a person that's been going through going through chemo and that. So they changed the character up. They changed the ranger form and they killed off the, the pink one, like the season's pink ranger, and had Andros' sister be the new Pink Ranger in that season. But I must admit, I do love the fact that like the Super Sentai seasons, they don't steer away from they don't steer away from all this like just to think about honestly think about it to steer clear from death in Power Rangers when death is like the topic of the episode. It's it's to be honest with you, it's like they're not doing the children any favors. The kids would have seen their pet cat die. They would have seen their pet dog die. They would have seen like a pet of theirs pass away. They would have had a relative who is then like either sick or extremely old pass away. These different, even their friends who are young and fit, pass away in a car crash, pass away in uh, with cancer, or pass away through another reason. So kids do see death. They do know that extreme illnesses can cause death. Extreme pain can cause death, which I love to see in where you saw like the latest dinosaur ranges. I've actually got it on DVD. Like uh, the main like the cute little monster. She drains the drains the life out of someone because or an animal because they have an ability to make the more depressed they become, the more they feel like they're gonna die. The more I've watched that season a couple of times over since getting the DVD the DVDs from eBay a couple of months ago, and I've just been so amazed to think that that season actually went through that whole cycle. Even in the Zoo Ranger, the death of the Green Ranger, there's been the death of the Pink Ranger in Go-Go 5. I'm happy that I know it might sound a bit twisted and maniacal and quite weird when talking about this. It it honestly makes me feel like if I was watching like a news broadcast and I seen uh, these bright colored warriors come and they defend me and a couple of them die, I would know that they died because they did something good. It's like the world wars or any conflict where warriors have to go in and they have to make sure that their their troops and their comrades come back safe. And this is one thing I do love with the Super Sentai in these different seasons that they don't shy away from it. There are times when people do get injured, and that's been in all seasons of the Power Rangers. They don't shy away that people do get injured. They don't. Some of them get knocked out for a couple of episodes. Like they don't shy away from fear of death or fear of severe injuries, or even getting severely sick in quite a lot of those seasons as well. This is where it is extremely sugar-coated in the Power Rangers. Within the second season of the Power Rangers, there they take away Tommy Oliver's powers. In the Zoo Ranger, Dragon Ranger dies. But in the Power Rangers, this green candle, once it's burned to nothing, we will have the Green Ranger powers forever. Or uh, even when they destroy old Zords, just because of one monster or another, which that's not from this like they even say like, oh, because of this magical thing we're going to take away the Power Rangers powers, or we destroy this, we take away their powers. We're not going to kill them, we're just going to take away their powers so they can't do a damn thing, which is quite upsetting to think that um, the people the who make the Power Rangers are so literally treating children who have survived cancer or survived a major illness or survived a major injury to have people go into battle one week and guess what? They're walking the next. Really. If you get hit in the leg with a paintball, like with a paintball gun, and I've been to a number of paintballing areas. When you get hit with a paintball, they leave welts, they leave bruises, and there've been a few times there I have had welts and bruises that have been with me for a couple of weeks, and they still hurt days later. So the the kids who have survived all this, they go, "Oh, great! I can be a Power Ranger. I can't be a Power Ranger because I'm still sore from an injury, and it's been 7 days, and it's been 7 days, or it's been a even with like them doing like a day. If they had like a day thing, and they go, "Oh, I'm injured. I can't. like I can't do it. I can't play Power Rangers, for instance. To have the power and to have them go, and if they were in Japan, they know that they can have the attitude of a Super Sentai. For a simple reason is, a Super Sentai um, person, they get injured one like one day, and they could still be injured the next day, which is something true. Medically, it's true, and that's one thing I love about the Power Rangers. There's no fear, like they don't fear like the death, and they don't fear being severely injured or being severely sick. But the simple reason is that's what actually happens to people, and either through a monster of the week or of not of the week, a monster of monster of the week, because sometimes they actually do have a monster that actually does go over a 7 day period. Not 7 day period, shit, 5 day period. And I honestly believe that the Super Sentai can, if the Power Rangers actually did this, they could actually teach kids on how to cope with a death, or teach kids with the how to cope with a friend or a loved one with cancer. But with them treating kids like little fools, that's where it differs for me. If I have kids, I'm showing them Super Sentai, and I'm going to do it with English subs. And I don't care if they have like idiot, fool, whatever in the subtitles. I want my kids to watch it and to see what children's television can be like. And that's the one. And that's the reason why. That's another reason why Super Sentai is far better uh, than the actual than the rip-off Power Rangers. Another thing that I honestly love about the Super Sentai is this. Uh, Super Sentai can educate the Western viewer about Japanese culture. Like in Ninja Sentai Cool Ranger, Shuriken Ranger, Ninja, 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 I'm sorry, Ninja, and Nippon Sentai Horikenja can, and also with Samurai Sentai Senkenja, they can educate the Western viewer on those warrior cultures and warrior and Western traditions. Even with the food in some of those cultures, with Samurai Sentai Senkenja, they have a sushi salesman there, which is fantastic because you can get to educate kids on you can they could educate Western viewers the Western viewers on, wow, guess what, we can have this this beautiful Japanese dish called sushi or sashimi. uh, and it's just so, and with like back to warrior cultures, like it's just so amazing to think that mm, oh, they it's just so amazing to think that they can educate kids on like on those different seasons, but they didn't. This is the Power Ranger side. Uh, I also love Gosei Sentai Dairanger, Juken Sentai Geki Ranger. Shows off how ki or spirit energy can use to fight evil, and even showing even with the Gazoo Sentai Goenja shows off their love towards the Western, like the Western style pirates, and showing that anthropomorphic creatures can be our friends instead of always being the evil enemy. Which, sadly, the people who run and operate Power Rangers don't do. Even back when they first started with the whole first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they could have done this in conjunction the with the with that sort of show. They could have done like a since they didn't want to do Kamen Rider, they could have done this, and that could have done today. Kids, we are looking at like they could have gone the actor who played Jason, Trini, Billy, Kimberly, um, Zachary, Tommy, discuss the like the powers or the or not the historical but the attitude of their particular Zord or their particular beast. They could have done so much to educate the kids about the dinosaurs since they didn't want to go through this whole mystic and science together. Hello, uh, people who did Saban, who worked for Saban Entertainment back in the early 90s. What in the bloody hell was Star Wars? What in the bloody hell was He-Man? That was mysticism mixed with science fiction. You're telling me that kids not want that you're telling us that kids can't understand that dinosaur robots can't have a brain, can't have a heart, can't have certain things because it messes up with your Western values? You idiots! And this is another thing I love, and this is one thing that Power Rangers really tripped up. Uh, Even with the Turbo or with any other with the other, since they, as I said, they clearly don't want to do Kamen Rider. They literally mess up everything when it comes to like since they like since Sentai like they have a lot of stuff that they educate the audience with when it comes to that particular season. But the Power Rangers is just this lazy Western 20 something minute TV show that has to have the monster of the week, like the monster of the day, be killed. No, not killed, gotten rid of within that week. And there's hardly anything to do with the like the particular mechanics of the Rangers or the Zords or the mythology behind the creation of those powers. There's no showing of the key or spiritual energies uh, that Jungle Fury has. Like they go, oh, they show real world people and they show that they are that they can morph into different creatures. But in the Juken Sentai Kikirenja, anthropomorphic creatures can teach you something. It may be the pagan in me telling the telling my old Christian self to get lost, but it is true. This is where the can Sentai is better than the Power Rangers. The Power Rangers just is kill the monster of the day or of the week. We'll just joke about it and move on to the next monster or the next episode. They don't go through the education of their children. They don't use the opportunity to educate children, which makes me upset to think that Western TV shows don't actually do this sort of thing. Period. I'm surprised that they didn't utilize Elizabeth Sladen, who played uh, Sarah Jessica Park, Sarah, Sarah Jessica Parker. She played a reporter in Doctor Who. Oh, sorry, Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane. I think it's Sarah Jane Smith. Yep, Sarah Jane Smith, and I was right. Um, she was portrayed by Elizabeth Sladen. Doctor Who had this huge opportunity to use Elizabeth Sladen uh, as uh, as the reporter Sarah Jane Smith to have the Sarah Jane Smith education half hour to coincide with science and history. That's that's a blooper. That's a blunder of the UK, and they've lost their chance to do that. The same thing, the same thing is done with like the people who, like from, like the people who bought the rights to do the Super Sentai adaptation to Western countries uh, for for the Power Rangers. They've lost, like they had the chance to do like another half an hour thing with the actors of those series to to show that yeah, this happened and that happened, and they could have shown more anthropomorphic creatures the as more mentors and guiding roles. The only thing that they did right for SPD was to do the leader Kruger as a dog, be like the mentor leader figure. Every other season that they mess up, and to and another reason why I do love the Power Rangers is that it's just been through the Toei company for its 45-year history. One company that's run the whole Super Sentai seasons. They've handled their property well because they know the property. But the same cannot actually be said with with the handling it with the handling of the Power Rangers franchise, uh, when it comes to the different media uh, outlets that have held it, from Saban Entertainment to the Walt Disney Company to Bandai to Nickelodeon to Nikolai Bandai America, and to just to Bandai America Incorporated. With each season of the Power Rangers within, it's just like they're sort of selling of the property. Even mid-season, they sell the property, and you can actually tell. Honestly, you can tell. But it was more like the Disney and Nickelodeon thing that you you literally see more jokes, more um, childish, uh, friendly things. But when it was like Saban Entertainment, it was more like like they had the violence in there. Uh, Bandai, it had like a bit of the storytelling aspect of it, but with with whatever company held it for the past nearly for the past 29 years, they've they weren't exactly like a fan of the from the Saban Entertainment era. The first like the OG fans would say that with the Disney Power Rangers, why haven't you why aren't you doing this, or with the Saban Rangers, as in the Saban fans, who say that the Disney ones weren't living up to the standards. And this is the problem where with the like the Western Power Rangers over the Super Sentai uh, seasons, as different board of directors have their own agendas and their own um, people that they have to answer to, like the viewers or the more governmental officials. Like the different things get mixed up, and that's one thing I don't like about the Power Rangers, because the fact of the matter is, they're like go they go, oh, it's nothing changed much, but Bulk and Skull are more, I'll just say, like Bulk and Skull, who are a part of the Power Rangers franchise, uh, they are more included in the story, doing more like slapsticky sort of thing. One week, like as in if the Power Rangers were owned by Disney, but when Bandai comes in, they've been taken out, and the fans of Bulk and Skull complain, saying, "Oh, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? We love Bulk and Skull. We need the jokes. The jokes are there to to help us with the violence." But the Saban Entertainment guys would be saying, "Hang on, there's too many jokes here. Where's the storytelling? Where's the violence?" Nickelodeon Bandai, screw me. Don't know how that. I do not know how in the bloody hell that worked. Well, because Nickelodeon is more child friendly, Bandai is more universally friendly. So, which is going to happen? And as I may mention, they hardly tell a good story. Like they have a piss weak storytelling at best. Pathetic, pathetic jokes at actually pathetic jokes at best. But you don't know, like if Power Rangers get sold to Mattel in the future, are they going to add like 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 more of a Barb, like more of a GI Joe thing where it becomes ultra, it's like ultra violent. If the company went to, it's already in the already in the area of the power of the Transformers and Power and My Little Pony. What's stopping them from more beautifying the Zords or beautifying the different areas? And like one board director could retire and another one comes in, but that director doesn't like what the previous director did. Like like board of directors, and if that guy is high up, then things get changed around with the Power Rangers. There's inconsistency of the product, and that's another reason why I honestly believe that Super Sentai is the best, because the Toei company over its 45 years of history was constant in like the amount of violence, constant in the amount of storytelling that there was, constant in the jokes that were implemented in the TV show. Another reason that I honestly love the Super Sentai, is the fact they're not afraid to go, you idiot, you fool. And I've heard this many times in many seasons of Power Rangers online, and that is baka, meaning you fool. They they hit they go say, if you're a fool, you're a fool. You did something great, you done something great. Or if you done something great, but then you were a fool, they go, oh, you were great, then you had a fool. They were honest. They told you how it was, uh, which actually works well within me being an Australian. Like over here in Australia, like we go, oh, don't be an idiot, mate. And in the Super Sentai seasons, I honestly love how they go, like they go, don't be a fool. In other words, like they go, baka, don't, there's something in Japanese, which translates to English is don't be a fool. And I love that about Super Sentai. They don't sugarcoat what they are saying. They go, if they someone, as I said, so if someone's a fool, they they call them the fool. If someone is acting like a total idiot, they are a total idiot. But in the Power Rangers way, it's like, oh, just don't be that silly anymore. Oh, don't be that greedy, or don't be something. They're low grade when it comes to uh, telling it how it is. Uh, Another thing that this is in the same context. Uh, the thing that uh, I love about the Super Sentai is that you can like you can have a child say to the Sentai warrior, "Get away from me, you're old man," or "Nee, kiss my kiss my big kiss my backside, Miss Lady." You know, that sort of real world childish disrespect for authority or disrespect for the grown ups. I've had it done to me, and like as I said, like I'm nearly 40. In July I'll be 40. and I done it to my elders. I go, asshole. Or when I become a lot older, well, quit. Like that's the honesty, you know. Like that's another reason why I love Super Sentais, because they show the honesty of what an actual situation could be. Like a kid is riding his bike, uh, trips over, not trips over, but the ranger knocks him over and like no, knocks them over, and they go, "Don't be so, don't be so stupid, like old man or old lady," and they scamper off, which happens here in Australia too. Like if I knocked over like a kid who's bicycling, they would tell me, "Mister, you made me fall over, you idiot." And that's the beauty of it. The telling the truth of what they've done. Telling, even having the kids tell the adults what they've done wrong. Which unfortunately you do not see in in the Power Rangers. Like the Ranger could tell the kid, "Oh, don't be so silly. Oh, dang it, you've done this bad thing again," which isn't which isn't exactly teaching the kids or being, since this is like a big uh, ad for their toy lines. They could use this time to, instead of being like Yosemite Sam, "Oh, sacrifice, well, oh, fuck, sacrifice." They could have just said, "Listen up here, kid. Don't be such an idiot. Grow. You can. You can be. You can be like this. You can be what you want to be, but yet not be like that." Which I find, they go, you can't. They go, "Oh, you can't be a successful player if you are an idiot, or not if you're acting silly all the time." I know in Super Sentai, the range, like the Sentai warrior would literally go, "If you want to play for the, if you want to go for to represent Japan in the Olympic Games, don't be such a fool. Do your training and work and work your way to the and work your way to the top." I'm just using that as a general reason. You see, like the difference here is they expect the child to go in the Power Ranger side of things. "Oh, thanks, mister. I won't act like an idiot anymore. I won't act like a silly billy anymore." And they go run off and play. What kid has actually said that after being lightly told, lightly punished? Like if I said that to a kid who was riding this, who's riding their skateboard and they fell down in front of my house, they go, and I go, "Oh, don't be a silly Billy if you don't. If you want to go to the X Games, guess what they'll tell me? Get lost, loser." Which is the same way, which is the same way I love about the Super Sentai. Like the kids would just say, "You know what, you old person, you don't know what I've been doing in that, so get lost." Uh, and that's been happening so many times in different seasons of Power Rangers, Super Sentai that I've watched over the years. Like those children and like the children and adult interactions are actually more real life than what the interactions are in Power Rangers. well, from what I've seen, the Power Rangers, it just looks like some Christian Sunday school uh, movie. Yes, mister, I won't be such a silly Billy anymore. Or, yes, ma'am, I won't be such a silly Billy anymore. This one thing, that's another reason why I love the Super Sentai. Don't act all Christian like. But that's because they come from a different nation. I'm just so enthralled with how Super Sentai is as a property. Uh, I was just reading up a few things that I was supposed to post up some time ago, but couldn't post up the edit, so I wrote them down and I thought of saying here. But now, upon thinking about it, I do enjoy the the fact of them, like the fact that I come from a culture. I may not look it, but I am part Indian. My dad's side's Indian. My mum's side's is Scottish in some parts, and I enjoy this like enjoy the storytelling. The storytelling is beautiful, beautifully done in the Super Sentai because it just takes it's like from season to season to season to season. You definitely know the characters. You definitely know how they grew as a character. Like a weak uh, Pink Ranger could be an ultimate warrior by the end of the season. A thick-headed Blue Ranger could be more of a compassionate person in the end of the season. A egotistical, militaristic leader, Red Ranger, or Pink Ranger. If you're looking at Time Ranger, they soften up and they learn. And instead of saying, "I'm the leader. This is what you're supposed to do," they go. They end up becoming, "I'm the leader. What's your expertise, and we'll do it to face this monster." That is one of the best things that I've actually seen in any form of media. Sadly, you don't get that in the Power Rangers. As Power Rangers, it's like, what's that day's problem? Monster interferes with working out that problem. Monster gets defeated. Somehow, defeating that monster is an educational point for the before the monster invaded. It's like, how can killing a monster with 6 wings and 10 eyes deal with Brad's in incompetency to like unable to finish a finish algebra, or how can defeating a female monster with 9 tails, looks like a lion, how can that defeating that female monster help Brittany with getting to know with getting to do something in her community? It doesn't have anything, which is sad. Which is honestly sad for like the U.S. standard when it comes to children's TV shows. It must be wrapped up within half an hour. That's including ads. Or let me just say, 25 minutes, 25, 20, like between 24 and 27 minutes. It's just that sort of, you have to figure out everything. You have to edit it down to that sort of context, and it's very hard. Like you barely see the leaders learn from their their underlings. You barely see the weakest member of the team become stronger. You barely see like a thick-headed ranger become less thick-headed. You don't see you rarely see the clown become more mature. You rarely see those sort of things, you know. But one that's one thing I actually do love about the not the Power Rangers, the Super Sentai. The leader can learn. The weak one can learn. The thick-headed one can learn. The clown can learn. The more self-centered one can learn to step away from the spotlight. Try to move out of the spotlight a bit more. And by the end of the season, they act like a true team. With 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 you, it's virtually forced upon the Power Rangers, to do so from moment one, which is pretty pathetic if you ask me. There's there's also this is more towards like the Power like the in like the silliness of the Power Rangers, skipping seasons. Why in the blinking hell would you do that? You think you wouldn't make that much money, so you jump forward. Once that you got like they jump forward so much, they go, oh, Super Sentai stopped. Oh, what am I? What are we gonna do? 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 Then they might as well go back to like the very first season of Super Sentai and try to work that into the continuation. But when you do that sort of continuation, when it comes to Zoo Rangers, Jason David Frank would be in his most probably be in his 70s or 80s. Can't exactly do those high spin kicks now. Um, Amy Jo Johnson could be a grandmother wanting to have nothing to do with TV. Well, we know what happened with the actor who played Billy. He wants nothing to do with the power. Wants to do, for the exception of doing the conventions, have nothing to do with the making of Power Ranger stuff. Um, Jason, the guy Austin St. James, I think he just does. He has he's doing other things now. Could be retired from that job and acting. So you'll be trying to get other, but then those sort of actors could pass away with one like a cancer or in an accident or one form or another. So they have to get new people to play the Zoo Rangers, and they have to try to reword it from Mighty Morphin. They have to change the word morphin because it sounds like morphine, which is a drug that you can get, yeah, which is a drug, which is like an illegal drug. They have to change the name from Mighty Morphin. Ooh, they have 3 seasons called Mighty Morphin. They even have one season called Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. So, ooh, how are we going to fix this show? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going? They'll be saying, what are we going to do? Um, and they'll go, ooh, there's this. They go, it's the Thunder Megazord, but we called it like we called it the Thunder Megazord, but it's something different in Japan. I wonder if we could work around these things. Who knows? Power Rangers, the license of Power Rangers could be, you know, gone from Bandai International, like American International. It could go back to the Disney. It could go to Mattel. It could go to Hasbro. It could go. You could go anywhere else, and those board of directors have a final say in what the season has in storytelling and that, which will make it even harder still. I know that they're saying that they're going to bring in story writers and Hollywood actors, like Hollywood story writers and that, to write the story for a brand new line just called the Power Rangers. They're going to do a lot of like shooting in that by themselves. But to be honest with you, I do not see that at all. The reason why I don't see that at all is simple. It's too cheap to bring in the Japanese footage, dub it into English, and mess with it a bit more. Not a bit more, but mess with the take out like the cultural importance of a thing, take out the mythology of it, and put this whole new stuff into it, which is virtually saying you can't, which is saying we know better. Where technically, if they knew better, they would actually use it as a time to educate the audience of where Power Rangers actually did come from. You could use it as a time of education. With the Alien Rangers, they could have used that time to educate the children on uh, ninjutsu or the ninjas of Japan. They could have had someone come up and go, "Oh, look, kids! In this week's episode, one of the Rangers became a huge giant monster, or become giant. In this form of Japan, in this ninja trade, it's called the Gekkei Genkai. I know I'm using a Naruto thing, but it still works. It's like it's an optical illusion, and it just made the enemy go crazy. Then he attacked them, or uh, you seen you seen the Rangers go like this, and there's these things that were implanted into the monsters, like the foot soldiers or stormtroopers or whatever they want to say. They are called shuriken. What is a shuriken, you ask? It's these metal plates shaped with razor wire edging, and it would hurt to get hit by them. Or even when they throw down the metal. You have to go to ask which ninja. Actually, I might just put um, Geek Level Asian uh, video and the other video into the description below. But I honestly do see that they could have done all this stuff. They could have educated the kids on the Japanese side of things, but they've just been too lazy. Uh, Saban International, the Disney company, Bandai, Nickelodeon, both Bandai and Nickelodeon, and now just Bandai. They've just lost the plot when it comes to this sort of stuff. They have actually had a chance to educate the kids on the Power Rangers themselves. They could have educated the kids on the cultural reasoning for these sort of things. Mm. Yeah, but still, you just they had all these opportunities to do these things, but yet they didn't do it. They didn't change up the cast every year, which would have made it so much easy for something like a. They could have just said Power Rangers Pirate Force. Hell, the kids have been watching One Piece for years. I watched Voltron, which which is which is back in the 80s, a group of five five warrior like five uh, fleet officers, or actually five last humans if you're doing the Brave King Go Lion. They've been attacked. They've been tracked by an empire. If guess what? Idiots who operate Power Rangers Super Mega Force. You could have done that. Change the actors over and had some other team do it. Again, in these past few seasons, they've just been lazy. They've been lazy from the first, like the first ever episode, the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Day of the Dumpster, please. How about Day of the Trash? The the floating barge of trash. Sad to say that something as trashy as Power Rangers brought me to the beauty of Super Sentai. And I just want, and it's just sad that they've lost out on telling proper stories. They've lost out on telling the kids on what is important. Like in those death, like as I made earlier with the death, like we've used it as as a way to educate the kids that death is real. You can cry over losing someone, but they've refused to do that. They've actually done it once, but she got like spirited away. You know, a glow, and then little particles fell off. Ooh, she's gone. And she came back at the end of the season anyway. So again, I know the guy who inspired me did positives of the Power Rangers, but to be honest with you, Geek Level Asian, I honestly do see Power Rangers being so inferior to the real deal. like Super Sentai. And I just to be honest with you, Geek Level Asian, I respect your views on Power Rangers, but there've just been so much. There's just like so much um, level. There's like a level of uh, from from trying to from it's like the adaptation thing to the West. The people who operate the Power Ranger stuff, they failed. They failed us as they failed the fans, and they failed the source material, which is quite sad to be honest with you. And there's nothing but cons when it comes to Power Rangers from remake. I know it's not exactly a popular opinion, but from what I've seen, with the parallels of like each episode, like each episode that is um, connected in some way to like from Power Ranger, like Power Ranger to Super Sentai and Super Sentai to Power Ranger. The Power Rangers is just lacking, unfortunately. They had this opportunity to say that this, like, the Power Rangers was originally from Super Sentai. Super Sentai comes from Japan. They dropped the ball on educating the kids about Japan. And it would have prevented a weeaboo culture, like, oh, like could have prevented that sort of thing if they had like a proper. And to be honest with you, 4Kids have done the same thing when it comes to anime, but that's for another video, unfortunately. But yeah, I respect what Geek Level Asian says, but I I'm just saying from my end is that Super Sentai is far superior over Power Rangers. Though the morphs may be a bit, may be completely different, I don't give a shit. That's another thing that that the Power Rangers failed in. They could have had the Rangers wear gloves, you know. And the reason why they do this is to show respect in martial arts. Bink, bink. None of this put on the glasses and click. When you fight, you show respect to the opponent. And again, to Geek Level Asian, you inspired me to do this video, and I just want to say thank you to you for making your own video. But time that it's just sadly time that Power Rangers, like people who ran and operated Power Rangers in the past, and most probably will be in the future, they need to learn that with what they've done is that they've messed up a lot. They messed up on times of education, and they messed up on a lot when it comes to uh, showing off a good product. I don't mind them English dubbing anything or getting these different actors in, but it comes time where you stop westernizing something for a good story. I'm Dragon Barrows, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.